Hello, I am Kevin Dewayne, and I'm creative director of IamKevinDewayne.com and creative director of Supreme Cleaning Academy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to get into the topic of interviewing candidates for your cleaning business. Now, before we get into that, I want to address a question that I've been getting a lot lately, and it has a lot to do with the coronavirus, and that is, what do I do if I no longer have an office and I still need to interview people? And you can simply get around that with ease, because in today's time, even large multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporations are going to video interviewing anyway. That's been a method that large corporations have been using for quite some time now. So for sure, as a small entrepreneur, you can definitely use the video method, to interview candidates as well. So you do not need an office to interview people. Now, depending on the position, you may be able to rent office space for the day. If you live in a large metropolitan area, there are many different companies that you can seek out where you can rent an office space just for the day to interview a candidate. But I recommend, regardless of who that candidate is that you're hiring for, that you simply do it by video anyway, because that's going to save you time and it's going to save the potential candidate time as well. And with a video interview, you can address everything as if they were in person anyway. So yes, use video when you're interviewing, and no, you do not need an office. You almost do not need an office until your business really scales up and you have, a couple or a few dozen employees, and you're doing training and development, and you have an office staff with telemarketers and executive assistants and, so on and so forth, a place where you got to store supplies and records and, all these different things that you simply just cannot do in a home office. So that comes usually way down the line when you're first getting started in any type of service business, for that matter, unless you're starting with, $60,000-$70,000 business and you're just getting everything, just jump starting everything from off the bat, and you're hiring all these different types of people right off the bat to build the infrastructure for your business. But that usually is not the case when you're first starting out in the cleaning business. So when you're interviewing candidates, just consider one of the video methods, such as Skype or Zoom or Webex or FaceTime or WhatsApp. There's a ton of different mediums that you can use, video mediums that you can use when you're interviewing candidates. So again, like I said, you can still gauge that employee. They don't have to be in person. You can tell if they're on time when you establish a block, when you set a block of time aside and they're late. That's a measurement. That's a red flag usually. If they're dressed nicely, from the waist up, that's something that you can gauge as well. The background, or their kids screaming, did this person have the decency and the professionalism to, have a quiet space when they decided to set up the video interview with you, So, there's different things that you need to consider, the same things that you actually would consider if they were there in person, So it's going to show a different level of responsibility on that candidate's behalf, because they have the onus is on them to make sure things are right on their end for that interview. Now, if you're interviewing somebody by video and they show up and they have their shirt off, then you already know right off the bat this is somebody that you're probably not going to hire. So video is the way to go, and it really doesn't matter, even when you really scale up and you actually end up with an office, you don't need to bring them in face to face unless it's a professional type of position, or even any type of managerial position, a supervisor, a manager, a field manager, or whatever you're hiring for, in management. Then you need to figure out a way after video. You still should do it. The first interview should still be video, but then after that, then you probably want to find a place, a cafe, a Starbucks, even a nice restaurant or something with a nice quiet booth or something, if you're doing it first thing in the morning or something like that, which is most ideal if you're going that route of interviewing and you don't have a home office and you don't want to spend the money to rent an office space. So there are different ways that you can do all these things, but again, video is the way to go. And like I said, there are several different mediums that you can use, and most of them are for free. So it's very easy. It saves time, it saves money, it's quick. You can get, you can judge the candidate quite fast, and you know right away if that's somebody that you're going to move forward with, and so on and so forth. So getting into the interview questions, where the industry, the human resources at large have moved to situational type questions. So you kind of want to move away from, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? You want to kind of start getting away from those type of questions if those are the type of questions that you're asking, and you want to build in situational based questions, like, tell me about a time when, describe a time when, give me an example of, what would you do if, because what situational based questions are going to do is going to dig into the behavior of that person. And usually past behavior is an indicator of future performance, and that's what you're looking for. So when you're giving them situational based questions, you're digging into the character of that person. And again, it's a gauge to let you know, okay, is this somebody that we want to bring on board or not? Is this somebody that's going to fit our culture? Is this somebody that we can trust? What are their decision-making abilities? Their challenges, how do they overcome things? How do they see things? That's what situational based questions is going to do for you. So I have about 100 situation based questions that I created that are on my website, iamkevindewayne.com, as part of my membership that you can download. If you request it, I will probably just send it to you for free, because I've done that in the past. I'm still willing to help people here and there, even though it does cost money. I still often email that, because I know how critically important it is for people to have the right questions, because you're trying to hire the right people. And it just cuts through a lot of the BS actually, when you have the right questions, because you can gauge that person. You can tell right away if that's somebody that's going to be a good fit or not. And you just don't have the time to be going back and forth. And you need to shorten, the margin of error. You need to shorten that window down, of trying to figure out if that's somebody that's going to work out only later to figure out they weren't the right candidates in the first place. But had you asked the right situational based questions, you probably would have figured out if they were a good candidate for you in the first place. So that's why I usually tend to give that out for free, So again, you don't need a home office. If you're interviewing candidates, you want to do it by video. Everybody has a tablet, a computer, a smartphone these days, so it's very easy for you to do and for the candidate to do. You can set that interview up. You can be all different types of places. So it's just simply the best way to go. It cuts down on time, money, headache, all those different things. So that's my takeaway for the day. I hope it was you got a good takeaway from it yourself. And again, check out my website if you haven't. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.